Okay, so I am still working on figuring out technology, and I did a live Zoom call yesterday to go through the instructions of this art project, but the call got interrupted and we had to restart the call, and that restart meant that I lost that footage. Anyway, we only got half the project recorded, so I decided I was going to make this video shorter, a little sweeter, a little more to the point, with the full directions on how we did this art project at home. So, welcome. If you are joining and you don't even know about the Zoom call, don't worry about it. I'm going to try to start doing maybe some live calls, and with that, that's really great because then you can ask questions as you're going along doing the project. It's going to be a lot longer. So don't worry about that. But today I'm going to talk about how you can do this project at home. So this is the Kandinsky, oh my gosh, it's a Russian name, it's an artist. So this is his Circles project. Now actually it's interesting history about this. It was actually not an art piece that he was intending. What he was doing was a color study, and he wanted to study how different colors beside each other created and evoked different emotions. So really this was a color experiment that became very popular and suddenly became a known work of art for him. So we are going to do our own color study, and what's awesome is that no two are going to look alike. You are going to have a lot of freedom in this. So if you're following along, I'm going to put this back here as our example that I did. Now this one is an 11 by 14 canvas that I already had. Today, if you want to, I also have like one of those thin canvas boards. This is an 8 by 10, but if you want to, you could also use a piece of paper. Thicker paper probably would be better because we're going to be doing a couple of layers of paint. So if you had construction paper or maybe thicker cardstock, that would probably be a lot best. Let's see here. I've got a notebook back there that kind of has some cardstock. So we are first going to get started. So when you're doing this, if you did a larger piece like this, we're first going to be blocking out and taping out, drawing the lines for our squares. So 11 by 14, the squares are about 3.5 inches, although it's slightly off. This one is a little bit bigger, don't worry. If you're doing more of an 8 by 10, which is closer to paper size, which is 8.5 by 11, we're going to do more of a 2.5 inch square on that. So I have a ruler. Mine is a T-square that I actually made myself. This is 2 plastic rulers that I got at Dollar Tree, and I hot glued it together. That just helps me kind of keep it straight, but really I'm just going to be using the ruler part right here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to hold it up, and I'm going to just mark. Remember, we're doing 2.5 inches if you're doing the 8 by 10. So 1, 2.5, one mark right there. So we got another half, then 1, 2, right there. So I've got 2 little marks. You see that? And then I'm going to lay down my ruler, and then just go ahead and draw a line all the way across with the marks. So you should see now we have three different sections. So we've got 3 rows now, and now we're going to make 4 different columns. So our total will be 12. Right, good job. So again, we're just going to go to our ruler and go 1, 2.5. Okay, half, 1, 2, another mark, and then we're going to do one more mark, 1, 2.5, right there. So we only have to do 3 marks this time. So again, going to draw the lines, and that's going to give us our 12 square grid. Okay, now again, you could probably tell only if you get closer. Some of these are actually just a tiny bit longer, but once we put the other circles and stuff on it, you really can't tell. So now we're going to start with our paint. So I am going to, because a lot of you guys at home may not have a lot of different colors, I am going to just be using our 3 primary colors and some white and show you how we're going to mix that. In kindergarten, we learned that if we have our 3 primary colors, we can make any other color of the rainbow, okay? Remember, red, yellow makes orange, our yellow, blue makes our green, and our blue, red makes our purple. Adding white is going to make sure that we can have darker colors and then also lighten it down. So I just have a foam plate or a plastic plate. Paper is going to be tougher because paper will start to absorb some of the moisture out of the paint. So I would recommend doing something that's either plastic or foam. Plastic would be reusable and probably be more eco-friendly. I already had this, but I'm going to use this plate as often as I can. Whoop, that one squirted out a little bit. And then I've got my white. I have a very large white. Now I'm using, these are student acrylics, but if you have like the little containers that you get of acrylic paint, like craft paint, you can do that. Or if you even do tempera paint, you could do that. Those are going to be a little thinner, a little more watery, and you're going to have to kind of maybe do a couple coats if you need to. That's fine. We're going to just work with that. So I've got 2 different brushes. Again, if you only have 1 brush, we can make this work. But I like being able to use, I have more of a squared off brush right here that I'm going to use that'll help me kind of follow the squares. So before we ever do painting with a brush, it's always nice to go ahead and dip it in water and just go ahead and get it. We drag off the extra on the side of our cup. So now our brush is primed. It's not going to try to absorb all of the paint as it's moisture. We've already added some moisture to that. So a little water, scrape it off. And so I'm going to come to my grid now. I've got my grid and I'm going to pick a color. I think I'm going to just start with a red square. I'm going to do this square right here, red, just plain red. So the easiest way will be to follow the lines with my brush, and then I'm going to fill in the rest of the way with the paint. Now if you ever see that if you're going and it suddenly gets all kind of streaky like that, that just means you don't have enough paint. So just go ahead and add more paint to make sure that you can get the coverage that you need. And then you can fill it in the rest of the way. So just going to do 1 red square. All right? If you want to start a different color, that's fine. I just felt like red right now. Really, I'm doing a lot of this. And I'm going to take my brush and go ahead. Right, I'll bring it right here. You can see it. I'm just rinsing it out. And then it's always nice to have either, I have an old towel that I cut up and turned into rags that I reuse, or maybe just a paper towel to try and dry that off. All right, so we have 1 red square. 1 red square. Awesome. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to do another color. I think I'll do yellow. Now here's the tip. Do not go right beside where our wet square is. The reason being is that if you're going beside it and that's still wet, it may pull the color down into what you're trying to paint. So if I tried to do a yellow square right here, I may accidentally pull some of that red because it's still wet and it'll kind of mix together. And we're going to try and do that. So I'm going to choose like that square. This square is nice and far away from that red square. They're not touching. So again, I'm just going to go down and paint that in. Now I use my pencil marks will actually disappear because I used a watercolor pencil. If you're using regular pencil, try to do it lighter because it will kind of show through a little bit of the paint as you're doing it. Graphite is a little stronger, but you know what? It really won't matter in the end because people being able to see the lines, the squares, is what matters. Okay, and now I have a yellow square, and I'll rinse out my brush. So, I'm going to do one more square. I think I want to do a light blue. Now, I'm going to pull blue. So I'm pulling, and when I say I'm pulling, what I do, instead of dipping in the center, you pull from the edge, which keeps the rest of your paint kind of clean. So I'm going to pull from that, and then from the edge of my white, watch, I'm going to pull right there. So now I've got blue and white on mine, and let's see here. Let's find a square that's not touching one of our wet ones. That one. We'll do that one. All right. So we're kind of hopping around. Now I'm going to go through, and I've got the blue and the white on my brush, and you'll see we're making a very light blue, right? And getting our finger in it. Oh well. I'm not used to painting upside down, so that will give me a break on that. So just, again, look, I'm getting streaky, so what does that mean? It means I need more paint. It needs more paint. And when you're mixing blue and white, you only need a touch of the blue and a lot more of the white. Blue is a very strong, same with the red. Very strong color, and white will be needed more to stretch that out. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to show you, I've done those colors already. So what I want you to do is, we're not going to spend the whole rest of the video you watching me do colors, okay? You can pick colors. So I want you now, you're about to pause the video and finish this step, okay? And then you'll come back. So what I want you to do is, you're going to start, maybe you'll do this square next, and maybe then you'll kind of jump down, you know, maybe here, and start filling in all of the squares in different colors. Remember, we're going to have different combinations. We can make a green. Remember, our green is with our yellow and our blue mixed together. You can do a green, you can do a light green, add some white. If you're going to do orange, make sure you add the red and the yellow together. You can experiment. What happens when you add white to red? Do we get pink? You can do a pink square. Do different squares and just try not to have the same color touching each other, okay? It's going to be all different varieties mixed up, okay? So I want you right now to pause it and come right back. Okay, so you should have paused, and you should have all of your squares painted. So yours should look partially like this. So I've already started some of the next step. Don't worry, I'll get you there. But you can see I already have different colored squares. All my squares are different colors. See, I've got a yellow and a light yellow and a pink and an orange and a peach and a green, all this different stuff. And now you need to also make sure that this is dry. Should have said that. If it's not dry, go ahead, pause it again, let it dry, and then come right back, because this really needs to be dry, or else it's just going to smear all together. Okay, so I paused enough for you to pause me so that you could make sure that the background is dry. And now we're going to start doing our circles. So our circles, as you see, I've already started, they're going to be a dot and 4 circles around it. Now the interesting thing is, in the color study part, he was really trying to explore the colors that were contrasting each other. So in using, artists like to use a tool called a color wheel. A color wheel helps us in choosing colors that either go with or really kind of stand out against those colors. So if I turn my color wheel and I've got the little arrow and it's pointing to the color blue, and I go, ooh, what's the color that really will stand out against the blue? I look straight down here. Oh, look, an orange will really stand out against that. Or if I do some more reds and yellows, it will really stand out against the blue. It will also show me some ones that are closer to it. So I know the greens are close to the blue, but that will still kind of show out. So one of the things now that we're going to do is we're going to look at the color of square that you're going to choose, right? We'll start with one square at a time, and we'll just do all the circles in one square. And we're going to choose colors that are going to be different than the background and are really going to kind of stand out. Now, there is no wrong way to do this. I promise. There's no wrong way to do this, because really, remember, he was doing a color study, so you can just be experimenting with the colors. You probably have already seen how in mixing the colors to make your backgrounds, you can make a lot of different colors. So we're going to use those same colors now to put it on the backgrounds. So let's say I'm going to come up here to this dark green. Now, this dark green, I probably shouldn't put dark colors on it. Light colors are going to stand out instead. So this is where also, if you have more of a round brush or more of a pointy brush, this would come in handy. Again, if you don't have any other options, you've been using the same brush, it's fine. This brush would have been the same way, just being careful going the edges if we painted the squares and then just painting it in. It would just take it a little longer, it's fine. If you only have this kind of brush to do the circles now, just probably kind of go use the edge of it and go around, it'll be fine too. So I'm going to, like I said, we always start with our brush, getting it wet, dragging off the edge, and then we're going to start with our color. So this green, like I said, it really is a very dark color, so we probably should pick some light colors. And first we're going to start with a dot. I think I would like a light yellow dot. Now my yellow by itself is not really going to show up. I need to add some white to it. So I'm going to pull some white and some yellow just on the tip of my brush. And watch, I'm going to the center of our square and just do a dot. Make one dot. That's it. Dot. Done. Okay, and rinse out your brush. That was pretty easy. All right. So now I want to do a different color that's going to go around it. What about if we did a light pink? What if we did a pink? Ooh. Oh, I haven't mixed pink yet. Yeah, and pink is kind of around it, so let's see. So I'll add some white. And I'll come over to the red and get just a little bit of the red, and kind of gives me this little coral pinky color, okay? So now, I'm trying to do this where you can see, although I'm not sure if I can do a circle upside down, but we'll see. So I'm going to start, and I'm just going to go around my dot and just draw a circle now. Just a circle. And it does not have to be a perfect circle. If you can see, mine's a little bit blobby, but I'm just going around and doing a circle. There, I have a dot and one circle. Now I'll rinse out my brush. And I think the next one we're gonna do, how about a blue? You guys wanna do a blue now? Let's do a blue. Again, if I choose my dark blue, I don't think it'll show up on that dark green. So let's stay in maybe doing lighter colors again. And I'm going to pull blue and white this time. Blue and white. And now I'm just going to draw another circle around the other circle. So you're starting to see how we're building the circles around each other, right? Just another circle, pretty easy. And there. All Great. We have a dot and 2 circles now. Now we're going to end up, let me see, I'll point to this one over here. This one I already did. So when we complete a square, we have 1 dot and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 circles, 4 different colors. So we end up with 5 colors all together on 1 square. And as you can see, I'll get you close, you know, they vary in different ways. Let's see, what if we do this one? We're going to keep doing this one. Again, if you had a really, really dark square, this is a good example of what we're going to do. I'm still thinking about some light colors. Here's a color that actually we can do that looks really neat. Just white. Let's just do white. So you can pull just white on your brush and do that as one of your circles, and it really pops on those dark, dark colors. Now if I did this on the yellow, it would still look neat, but remember, we're kind of exploring how these colors go together, how they look together, and like that. Ooh, look at that. That really pops. All right, I've got enough room to do one more circle. And I have to be careful. I guess upside down I did bigger circles than I did before. I'm going to try and stay in my square. I'm not going to cross over into the next color. So that part will stay. How about I do a light green? So even though green is the background, and to make our green, remember, is our yellow and our blue. Yellow and our blue. I'll do that. Pull in some yellow, yellow, yellow. You probably need more yellow than blue. Yellow's not as strong. This time I'll just add some white to it to make a light green. Yeah. Kind of like that. So this will be my last circle. Let's see here. And if you do that and you see that you don't like the color on there, that's fine. You can kind of go back and change it. So this is my light green circle. Ooh, a little tip. When you do a paintbrush, paintbrushes are meant to use the tips of them, kind of like you're painting with or drawing with a feather, okay? Pencils, we push down really hard because they don't bend when we push on them. Paintbrushes, they need to be more delicate, and we kind of are smooth and gentle with them. And if I notice that my paint is kind of creeping down my paintbrush, it means I probably need to rinse it, or I can even take it and roll it on my plate and then scoop it back up on the tip, because the tip is the only place and the best place for paintbrushes to distribute paint. So you can see that my paintbrush bends, but it's not smashing. We're not smashing this on there. It's not a pencil, it's a paintbrush. Okay, so that is one of our circles. What do you think? Do you like it? Now, if you had a dark green and you decided to do it exactly as me, that's fine. If you said, I want to choose some different colors, that is fine too. I really want to see what colors you're going to come up with. So let's do one more example, and then I'm going to set you loose to finish out the rest of this project the way that you want to, and I can't wait to see them. So let's choose more of a lighter color, okay, to give you more examples of what you would do. So we already did a darker color, and I showed you doing some lighter colors like that. Let's do other way around. A darker background with lighter insides. Let's do a light one, and we can show you how we can do some light and dark. We actually can play a little more with that. Okay, so I think I want to let's do a red center. right here in that yellow dot, or yellow square. Red dot, right there. Got a red. And already that looks really cool, doesn't it? That's really, really bright. Let's do a blue circle around it. I'm gonna do my dark blue, just the straight blue this time, I think. And what's interesting too is when you see the colors go on the background, sometimes they kind of start to change the way that they look too. So because my blue is going on yellow, it actually sometimes can look a little greenish because we know that blue and yellow together make green. So circle around that. Okay, how about maybe, I haven't done a orange yet. Let's do an orange. I will also say make sure that you get enough of the water out of your brush before you start dipping in the paint again, because mine got really watery sometimes. So let's see here. Orange, we're going to do our red and our yellow, and I'm going to just go ahead and come around. Ooh, this is looking really cool, actually. It's looking really fiery orange, isn't it? Okay. So far we've got that. What if then, what color could we do? I've already done the orange. How about the light blue? I'm going to do like a lighter blue, because light blue over here may look different than light blue over here. That and light blue is just always so pretty. I think I probably end up pulling from the blues a lot more because they're so pretty. But yeah, let's see here. I'll do another circle. Oh yeah, that's nice. You see that? Okay. So I am almost done. Let's see here. This is circle number 3 around here. Again, if I see little dots and it's not covering, it means I probably needed to get more paint. Again, gentle with my brush, not smashing it. Doesn't have to be perfectly round. Not perfectly round. And it's not. Actually, I think it has more character when it's not perfectly round. Do you notice what's interesting? We said that was a dark blue, but it almost looks black now next to that color, next to that color. That's kind of the color study that he was doing. What colors do you start seeing when you start changing what they're up against? Okay, I'm going to make a purple, although sometimes this looks like a little brownish purple. I don't know, a little gray, but I'm just pull in. So our purple is made with red and blue, and I think the best way is to always do a little more of the red than the blue. Sometimes the blue is so strong, if you do equal parts, it will start to look very kind of gray-brown. Okay, so that's kind of I kind of made kind of this purpley plum color with my blue and my red. And I'm going to do my last circle, which will be kind of this darker plum color, I think. Oh yeah, it's a prettier color than I thought. See, even I am still discovering what I need to do and how I need to just give it a try, you know? So I'm going to do this last little circle. Hopefully I have enough paint. Oh, I gotta go for more paint. Bigger circle needs more paint. Okay, Going around. And there it is. My last circle around. So look, that looks really, really nice. And you notice I try to rinse out in between each time, dry off my brush. Okay, so I am going to leave you to finish up this project now. This, like I said, there's no wrong way to do this. If you do have trouble here, I'll show you my youngest one. She was doing her own version. She was following along during our lesson, and she covered up her dot when she was trying to do a circle around it. Best thing to do, let it dry, go back, and you can put your dot back in over top of it. No problem. Whenever you have a mistake, it's not a mistake. You just might need to have a chance to let it dry, go back and fix it. You can also see when she was doing some of her squares, she was not getting enough paint, so that's why it got kind of fuzzy right here. I'll probably help her go back and just fill in that with more paint. Again, we're using these canvas boards. If you're using paper, you probably don't need to use as much paint because it's going to try and curl on you. Hopefully maybe you have, like I said, some cardstock or even just computer paper. So yeah, guys, I hope that you have a fun time doing this. Explore the colors, explore how it makes you feel, lighter, darker, you know, all these different ones. If you have more colors than just the red, yellow, and blue, and you'd like to pull in, maybe you have a pink color and you want to try and see what that looks like, go for it. If you already have a mixed green and then you decide to mix the green with the blue and it gives you more of a teal, ooh, that's really pretty too. So there's so many different things. I'm so excited to share this idea with you guys, and I hope that you have a great time having time to art at home. And I hope to see you again sometime soon. All right. Oh, and if you will, please, so I can see the projects if you finish it, if you could have your parents take a picture and post it on my Instagram. It is dreamwithme.art. And I would love to see what your project ends up being, okay? So if you do this project and you finish all of your circles and you have a whole finished project, I would love to see it. And the great thing is that it could be this way, it could be this way, it could be this way, it could be this way. It's whatever that you want. I'm so excited, and have a wonderful day. Bye.